A 3-day onslaught largely touted as a development tour, but one that observers note is a continued effort to woo a region that is largely an opposition vote bloc. From joining iftar dinner in Kilifi Saturday night to church service in Mombasa and later to meet the people rallies in Kisauni and Ukunda, Mombasa County, the DP is keen on rallying the masses in support of his stab at the presidency come 2022.
Mnawapigia kura wale mnapigia kura hawajengi barabara, hawana mpango ya stima, hawana mpango ya technical training, hawana mpango ya kufanya hospitali. Nyinyi mnataka watu wa aina gani?
Kwa hivyo wale vidudumtu ambao wanaandika habari potofu eti wabunge wa Kilifi wanaonekana na Mheshimiwa William Ruto ni wasaliti, hawajielewi kama mama anavyosema.
And with goodies in tow, he would promise title deeds in the next 90 days to Majaoni's quarters and announce the abolishment of fees in technical colleges to enable more youth to access courses and job opportunities.
Hiyo tulikubaliana na nyinyi. Mkaniambia wewe tutakupatia kura lakini ukuje utatue mambo ya ardhi. Wakati niliondoka mkanichenga. Lakini mimi ni muaminifu, ile nilisema nitafanya. Hata ingawaje mulinikata kona kidogo hapo.
For some leaders, inclusion rather than exclusion, their new focus to get a seat at the table in realizing development pledges.
Sisi tumekubaliana kama Wakenya ya kwamba awamu ya siasa na wanasiasa na uchaguzi na vyeo na vyama na mamlaka tumemaliza. Awamu iliyosalia sasa ni ya wananchi.
Mimi nauliza, utatafuta dereva wa matatu muingize kwenye gari la mashindano ama utachukua co-driver ndio muweke pale mufike kwenye destination?
Lakini kama uko serikalini kile tukijaribu haviwi, tubadilishe formula basi. Na tukibadilisha formula, hatutaki tu kuwa katika serikali yoyote. Serikali ni ya William Samoei Ruto.
Viongozi wawili wa mpinzani na rais ametuambia watu wafuatane pamoja. Na mbiu yetu tukifuatana na mheshimiwa naibu wa rais ni kwamba tunataka kushirikiana tuweze kuleta maendeleo mashinani.
The DP, keen to run on a hustler narrative, has been making forays in Western Kenya and now keen on the coast as well. While his lieutenants argue he's within his official capacity to go around the country as the second in command, pundits watching have their eye on his game of numbers well ahead of the next general election.
I made a reaction from my guests here in studio. I'll give each of them a chance to say something. Honorable Mathuki, let me start with you.
Wow.
The narrative has been, let's leave politics.
Yeah.
We came out of almost 2 years, if not 3 years, of politics. And so when the new year started, the message from all our leaders, and especially after the handshake, was, let's stop politicking. And the Deputy President has also been very clear about that as well. But yet, you see him in Mombasa telling those that are there that mulini chenga. I thought we were together, then you went this way and that way. Is that not politics? What does this mean? Does this take focus away from the Big Four? Because if you have a president who is saying that the Big Four is all he's concerned about, and a Deputy President who goes, and I guess one of his key messages is, last year you did this and that, and I'm hoping you won't do it again. Doesn't it look like one administration with different voices?
You know, it's clear that, of course, the Big Four is the government's agenda initiated by the President. And it is my hope that, of course, the Deputy President is also reading from the same page like his boss. And that is what is expected. I don't know, now he seems to have, and of course he's being smart also. He's also very clear that much as, of course, we talk about the Big Four, and he has also learned maybe from the past that you become so faithful a deputy, you may end up losing. And maybe that is why now he seems to be doing a serious balancing.
So faithfulness is not rewarded.
Like in Kenya now, faithfulness is, and all this is never rewarded. So I think he's trying to strike a balance between his work and, of course, the work of his boss, and, of course, his political future. And he's being a smart politician. That's what I would say. And I can tell you from where they sit and with all what is happening and every debate about 2022, I think he's been very careful not to be seen to be, of course, undermining the big four, but trying to use a different approach of now taking the big four to the grassroots. Because when he talks about the land, I will give you the titles. It's also somehow, I think,
with the big four.
Yeah, the big four. So he's operating in a very smart way, so that is not seen to be undermining the big four, but he's also using it as a tool to campaign and strengthen his position towards 2022. In fact, as we speak now, he seems to be the front runner.
Are there not those who might feel intimidated or worried that at a very early stage like this, the DP, I mean, if you look at the headline in the Standard, let me see here, the Standard on page, and I think I had seen this a bit earlier, page 6, DP pledges health water projects worth billions.
Yes.
Are there not others who would feel you're moving too quickly, Deputy President, it's too early, and feel threatened by that? So you've said it's a smart way for the strategy that he's using.
He seems to be, because when you talk
but
of
might not cause others to want to gang up against him.
Yeah, no, see what he's talking of the big four, is health is one of them. And when he talks of the healthier, he seems to be saying, yes, that is what the president said. And you remember in the comments for the last 2 weeks, and he turned it when the president said his deputy and a randa or something like that.
Tanga.
And a tanga. And he said, Mr. President, when in the course of Kutanga, I want to give you information. You know, he turns it back. So I think the Deputy President is for a fact, he's doing a serious balancing. And any politician will do that at a time like this, because you never know. He becomes so faithful and following the President, and he doesn't think about his future. And what is he doing? He's mobilizing leadership across the country to make sure that, of course, his interests, of course, and his focus is also not himself carrying it, but by some support by so many others. So I don't think there's nothing much with that. But the only challenge would be to sustain this kind of campaign at a time like this, because now we are talking of 2018, and still we have about 4 years to go. And with all the talks of about the reforms, we never know. And politics in Kenya keep on changing, dynamism of Kenyan politics. And I don't know whether what we are talking today will have a bearing in, for example, 2020, not even 2022. So it's about being calculative and balancing and making sure that you know actually what you're saying. But I think he's being smart by ensuring that he's mobilizing leaders to support his cause. It's not easy, but because, of course, you know, it's been seen to be more of a NASA region. But he seems to be even taking those NASA leaders at the grassroots and saying, please work with me and support me. And they are pronouncing themselves.
Very clearly.
Even one ODM actually sent a warning and said, for those who are going to do this, they'll be, yeah, and they have told him, they have told of the party, they don't care. It's about, and that's the future. So it's like now the people are taking advantage of this handshake. And
you're sitting next to an ODM legislator. Let's hear what he has to say. Honorable Owino.
Mombasa is a NASA zone. Anything happening there is a waste of time. It's like you are cutting a stone with a knife. You know, Jubilee administration is divided. It's a divided house. When the president saying no politics, let's do development, and the DP goes around politicking, that's not a good thing. You know, the handshake brought a very good environment for development to take place. But this may seem to be good to hear, but may be watering what the handshake did. Because if you push everybody into the political mood, then development will be minimized. And the government, Wahiga, let's face it as Kenyans, the government has a structure for development. If you talk of billions, right now we are allocating money to ministries and some to the devolved government. What is devolved? Why go to cause and promise them billions? From where? I think it's not in good taste for this country. Let us do development through the structures which are there. And when it comes to politics, let's do it.
So you're concerned about sort of the pronouncements that are being made on this meet the people or working towards, so to speak?
Yeah, in fact, that is more politics than anything else. We saw it during Moi's time, title deeds and roads, and you know, that is what should be in the past. Right now, we have devolution. Let's give them money. And those which are national projects, let's send them through the right channels, the ministries involved. But, you know, it's a cheap politic, you know, for a politician to carry goodies from county to county. No, we shouldn't do that. Moreover, I think he's disadvantaging himself. Politics, in a week, as he says, is a long time. What is being said now will not hold water. Even those leaders who are supporting, how sure are they that they will be influential in 2022? Never. Because people, the remedy for all this is that people have become so smart. You say this, they listen, they can even make noise, but they decide. So I think the DP should not go around the country. He should support the president in his big four and let the structures of the government work. Then we can move forward as a country.
Fair enough. Honorable Elachi?
I think, first of all, for him going around the country, he's our deputy president. To know that there is money for water, I think the pledges are, yes, there's money in the budget and it will come for health. I don't think he is using that as a tool to say, this is me doing it. No. But the other thing we have to remember as politicians, I think it is always fair to say what is truthful, because I think the deputy president, all these political leaders who are even now in Coast were one time with the deputy president in ODM. And therefore, I don't see anything wrong. By the way, and he was instrumental to even their time at that time.
So the prodigal sons are going back home.
Yes, so you can't tell me no. Let us, first of all, give salute where you need to. I mean, I always salute my deputy president. There's one thing. He is one person I respect in keeping his word. Let's be honest with that. Two, when the deputy president says, I will support you here, he will. Regardless whether you are in NASA or in Jubilee or in what party, he will support you. He supports you as a friend. And therefore, there are many who are across the board who, to be honest, the deputy president has supported. So when they go there, definitely as a human being, you will feel, indeed, I owe my deputy president because he supported me. Most of us leaders, it's not that we go in a party because we want the party. You are forced in the party because that is where the community has gone and they don't want to hear anything else. And many leaders have had to go into such scenarios where you are forced, you feel, for you, you'd have wished to be this side. But because the community has gone this side, you just have to go, so because you want to win. So let us also agree, in our politics, most people are not in their positions comfortably because that is where they wanted. It's just because I wanted to win my position. It is the same way with me in Dagoretti North. If I wanted to win that position, I would have just gone to where my community wanted me to be. I would have won. And it's that way. That is how the politics are.
Why did you not do that?
Well, I said, you know, there are principles also. It's got to play a good campaign and you show them I was willing to do this and I was indeed ready to do this. But since you felt my party was not the right to do it, then I have given the opportunity to the person you feel is right to do. And for me, the principles I believe in are this principle. And I know when I'm here, we will be able to transform 1, 2, 3. But since they didn't feel that way, then I mean, I have to respect their choice. They are the majority. It is the same. So for me, the deputy president, I salute him. And it's not the way he goes around. No. There are many things he does behind the back, and there are many things, many lives he touches, by the way, especially in politicians. He will guide you. He will even tell you. The deputy, he will advise you that you are wrong here. Can you kindly move this side if you want to really win this thing? He will also tell you. And so if it's so mean, you know, he'll tell you remain in my party. No, he'll tell you, look, just go to this part.
In 1 minute.
We salute him too. Remember, he was in ODM.
Yes.
So,
and he made the former prime minister.
What we are saying here, you know, politics can be very emotional.
Very, yes.
And feelings.
I agree with that.
We don't want that to be invoked now. What we want people to get is their right through the right channels, and to speak in one language for those things to happen. It is on record. President does not want politics to go around the country. Then why now? And those MPs talking like that, even us in NASA, will start looking at them, and that is the position that is going to happen. Yeah, and you don't want that to happen again.
The effects of the handshake will begin to shake.
Yes, the problem is that they feel if the more the deputy president goes out, this handshake maybe it won't work. As I said in the beginning, let us not look. Yeah. First of all, we must respect he's the deputy president.
That one we do.
We have not. I mean, whether you like it or not, I would want the deputy president to come to my village, to my constituents, to my county. Everyone would love.
In order to get goodies?
No, the goodies, and then he's not. There's no goodies he's carrying, by the way. Yes. The goodies he's not carrying because he knows he's in a new constitution and a new dispensation. You don't carry goodies. He comes in and he says, "This is what we promised. We have done a budget, and this is what we are giving."
I think the most important thing, so that we don't lose focus, the bigger picture, and the bigger picture we should be talking about as a country, as a people, irrespective of our maybe political affiliations, even for those in Jubilee. If we are talking of supporting the big four, which even those of us have said, we don't have a problem, we are ready to support. It's an issue of trying to see, and even moving around of the deputy president. I don't see a problem with that. In fact, anyone in his position to do that. But how do you reconcile that with the big four? So that you're not coming out to be actually fighting the big four, but using a different tact to make sure that you're also promoting the big four. And to me, if you look at the positive side of it, he seems to be taking the big four to the people by going to the ground. He seems to be also, you can even call it public participation if you so wish, and saying, yes, I've gone to the coast to listen to what they're saying. And therefore, as we move forward, we want to make sure the big four is not only made for those in office, but it is also people-centric. If he's a people-centric, he goes to the people, he listens to what people cause on say. So I think let him balance between the big four and his rounds movements in the country. I don't see a problem with that. It's about looking at the bigger picture and making sure that you don't lose focus for what we are saying.
For what we are saying. Fair enough. Honorable Elachi, I want to give you the last word. Nairobi County. Nairobi citizens, residents still waiting for a deputy. We see was it in one of the papers this week that there seems to be some sort of push on certain sides to impeach the governor, or the governor is under fire now more than ever before. Where are we? And you were supposed to table something before your county assembly, I believe, the last time I read a headline in relation to that, in regards to Miguna's nomination. Where are we with all this?
Well, I think we will table it this week, so let me not talk about it.
Okay. Yes. Think or no?
No, I know we are tabling it this week. We will finalize.
You can see that your fellow panelists have really moved in now. They want to hear that.
No, we can't talk about it.
That is a matter of a big public interest. Only for Madam Speaker to say that she can't talk about it when actually Nairobi, 5 million people watching and waiting without a deputy governor, and Madam Speaker
is here.
Actually, the matters are on her desk, and she's not talking about it.
Well,
let her respond now.
Let us appreciate that. I'm just the speaker. There's a house and you are in parliament, you know that. The speaker cannot say this is what, but I know we'll table it. So then from there it will move according to the standing orders and what.
This week.
This week. So we'll.
And if it doesn't happen this week?
No. This week.
This week.
This week.
Okay.
This week.
In fact, the most important question is that, are we going to have a deputy governor for Nairobi this week?
Or
I mean,
maybe in terms of what the process.
The process, it should be clear. You know,
well, you
in the spirit of transparency, accountability, and therefore sharing with the people and telling them, this is where we are, this is how it is, and I think by this time we'll have cleared this matter.
Madam Speaker, I feel like I need to protect you from the questions now coming in.
But you'll protect me because, one, I wish I had the candidate, so maybe it is the candidate who will take long. But I think for us, we will move on with the process. Secondly, on the issue of
the challenges of taking the city, and also, you know, you leading that county assembly, giving the county assembly direction. Nairobians still waiting to know the game plan. The big four of Nairobi County.
The big four of the Nairobi County is the same big four of the president. I mean, last week we were able to agree that we'll have an ad hoc committee that will look at the Big Four, and then we will want to meet also the different institutions that are doing that, so that we can see what is needed by law and what support can we give in. So by last week we agreed. So I think this week we will also see the team. I know it's the leadership, and we are also trying to come up with a process where, you know, the marginalization fund, and when I talk of the marginalization fund, I think time is up, and I know Mheshimiwa will agree with me. There's a need as a country and a government to rethink and see how can we get a fund that deals with informal sectors, which you can call a an informal settlement fund or something, where now you deal with the real. You see, the marginalization fund goes to the more marginalized areas. But now I'm talking about a population where you have Kisumu, Mombasa, Nairobi. You enter into a slum and you find life there. You're talking about maybe children who don't have schools. I'll give you an example. In Embakasi South, where Mukuru is, they only have one public school. Look at the magnitude of the people living there. One public school, one hospital.
So in terms of marginalized area,
yes,
that fits the criteria.
Yes, it fits. And yet, we don't have a voice that is coming out and saying, look, as you think of the other areas, Nairobi has a population, Kisumu has a population, and slum areas where people, 4 days they have not seen food. I think when we are saying we want to transform lives, are we transforming on the land or on people? It should be also a question in terms of our formula, because you're going to get the new formula. But how do we ensure we change the poverty that we see in the slum areas? Is something that we need. So this committee is going to help us. We've been very strong on the budget, and we have sat down, and the governor is agreeing with our proposals, because also he realizes when he came in, people were hyping so much and saying there's this, there's not. So we are saying, why can't we be realistic in what we say we want to budget for? So if the national government is giving us 15 billion, I think the highest Nairobi can collect for now is 10 billion. But if you collect more, then you bring in a supplementary budget saying we have collected more, which the good thing with him, all his monies go straight to the bank, so you will know that there is revenue that has increased or revenue that is decreasing. So that is another thing. The CIDP we did so well, and we have said as the assembly, we will go back and start doing very serious public participation so that we prioritize those items completely, and we know in this area they are willing to see this. Can we just do that so that we don't spread ourselves so thin and we don't have even the monies to do what we were saying, and we find ourselves with a lot of queries from the Auditor General just because you increased budget monies, and Kenyans don't even understand when you say, they don't know it's approximate. They think, oh, so there was 40 billion and you have refused to use the 40 billion. And then there's a lot of bureaucracy for you to even get to where you want to go. So you find your procurement, if you're not clear in what you want to procure, you will find yourself going round and round.
The fact that you've been able to have several meetings with the governor over the last few weeks and have all these discussions means that some of his concerns over security, over a witch hunt, are now water under the bridge? Well, they are water under the bridge. Okay, he now feels secure, etc. Because those are some
I know in terms of security, he still feels, can I have a few more security teams? But I think he has two proposals on his table. One, he can decide to pick his own because he has the inspectorate, and then just take them to Embakasi for training for a few months, and they come and just become. So he doesn't need to dwell on that so much and fight for that. No.
I think we'll have to call you on your own here for that particular discussion. Maybe not a question, because
a comment on security.
Okay.
On the issue of the security, I think it's important for the leaders. And I think Governor Songo, the way I've seen him, is not even so much worried about the security as such. In fact, you'll be surprised if he hires private security.
But that's what we are telling him also.
Yeah.
It would
Just
be better.
hire. Because he will be comfortable with them. He will know these are my people. Yeah. So he doesn't need to, because I don't know why we believe so much.
But it's the role of the government to protect leaders.
Of
So
course,
if you
yes.
go hiring private, then
What does that mean?
That's a problem.
No, but
right
the law allows governors to have their own inspectorate. So he can pick from those ones. That is the law still. And it's a government. Yeah, it's a law. And it's
I think this is a story we're going to have to continue another day. Thank you so much to each of my guests for finding time to be here with us. Honorable Mathuki, Honorable Owino, Honorable Elachi, for your time this morning. And to all of you who tuned in to watch and catch this broadcast as we looked at some of the big stories in the papers today, there's a lot more that's also happening. Let me refer maybe to just one more headline. We actually won't have time to talk about it, but on the front page of the Daily Nation, pilot misled, in quotes, by JKIA air official, was a young and inexperienced pilot diverted to a route she had never flown, and without good instruments, guided to a mountainside in a monumental blunder by air control staff. A section of her fellow aviators believe so. If that is true, then that will be very sad, very unfortunate, very tragic. But we'll wait for the full investigation to be done, and hopefully the public will know what transpired on that plane and who should be held responsible.